As they sit inside the small cottage, the elven girl keeps staring at Vlad. Her eyes are intense, as if they can see through his worn armor and clothes. Vlad feels embarrassed under her steady gaze. He shifts in his seat, feeling heat rise to his neck. He wonders if he did something wrong or if there is something on his face. It becomes even more uncomfortable when he notices she is sitting close to Varatus, holding his arm. Now both of them are staring at him at the same time. Vlad sighs to himself. Two elves staring at him in such a small space is too much. Unable to bear it, he looks away toward the frosted window and impatiently wonders when the carriage will arrive. He looks at his gear to distract himself. Varatus is staring at the engraving on Vlad's armor, the mark of the knight who saved the children's breath. Breaking the silence, Varatus asks what it means. Vlad touches his breastplate and feels the cold metal. He answers slowly that the San Rosino engraved it after he once saved children from a strange king. Hearing this, Varatus and the elven girl nod with deep respect. They say "splendid" together, their voices soft and musical. Vlad then realizes the girl was not staring at him out of dislike. She was looking at his armor and the amber set into it. He thinks that elves and spirits must share a deep connection that humans cannot fully understand. Just then, the cottage door opens. An elven maiden enters gracefully carrying a tray of hot tea. The smell of herbs fills the room. Varatus looks at the door and says, "The carriage is ready." Then he turns to Vlad and respectfully bows his head, saying he honors the knight who fought that strange being without caring about race. Surprised, Vlad bows back and says he is honored. He realizes that although Varatus seems cold, he is truly kind. Vlad feels hopeful that he might be allowed into the great elven forest, something few outsiders achieve. The maiden serves tea to the Vitskaya knights. Their leader accepts his cup and thanks her. She then offers a cup to Vlad. Though he knows elven tea may not suit his northern taste, he decides to drink it to be polite. Holding the warm cup, he compliments its fragrance and raises it to his lips. Suddenly, the elven girl stops him. She grabs the cup before he can drink. She even climbs onto the table to reach him. Her movements are smooth but strange. The Vitskaya knights stare in shock, some with open mouths. The elven warriors with Varatus look embarrassed, their faces red at her behavior. The girl firmly tells Vlad he is not allowed to drink. Confused, he asks why. She meets his eyes, then looks down, her expression unreadable. She stays lying on the table, moving her legs up and down in a distracting rhythm while keeping her hands on his cup. Vlad, feeling everyone watching, tells her she cannot do this, but she ignores him and continues. Eventually, it is time to leave. Outside the cottage, Vlad feels confused and unsettled. He cannot understand what just happened or what he did wrong. As they walk toward the horses, Goth quietly tells him to control his expression because the elves are still watching from the shadows. Vlad hesitates but looks back anyway. He sees the elven girl standing behind Varatus, holding his arm again. She peeks out from behind him, staring at Vlad as if trying to remember his face. Goth whispers that she must be someone important, since the other elves treated her with great respect earlier. Vlad sighs, his shoulders heavy. He says it now seems impossible for him to enter the elven forest after such an awkward scene. He bitterly wonders where he went wrong. The Vitskaya knight captain mounts his horse with a loud clatter of armor and tells them to move. They must cross the cliff before sunset because the path becomes dangerous in the dark. Vlad agrees and prepares to leave. Just as they are about to depart, Varatus calls out for Vlad to wait. Vlad pulls his reins and looks back. The elven girl stands on her toes, whispering urgently into Varatus's ear. She gestures seriously while Varatus listens calmly. After a moment, Varatus clears his throat. In a softer voice, he tells Vlad he feels bad sending him away like this and asks him to forgive the mistake she made. This time, when Vlad looks at the elven girl, her eyes are no longer intense or suggestive. They look truly sorry. Seeing this change, Vlad says he is fine, wanting to end the awkward moment as fast as possible. Varatus then casually mentions that he heard something also happened in the carriage earlier, hinting that it was more than just the tea. Vlad stays quiet, not wanting to reopen any misunderstandings. Varatus watches him and notices the elven girl gripping Vlad's arm tightly, her knuckles turning white. With a deep sigh, Varatus steps forward and holds out his arm in a clear, careful gesture. He says he would like to see Vlad again soon to make up for their rudeness. Vlad hesitates, wondering if a handshake means the same thing to elves. He knows elven customs are full of hidden meaning. Seeing Vlad pause, Varatus explains that this gesture is a rare honor. Unlike humans, elves do not easily offer handshakes to outsiders. Nearby, the Vitskaya knights start whispering among themselves, confused. They have spent years dealing with danger and politics just to gain a chance with the elves, yet this northern drifter gets a direct invitation in one day. One knight mutters in disbelief, asking how he managed that so quickly. Vlad reaches out and firmly shakes Varatus's hand, saying he gladly accepts. He adds that it will help him learn more about the world. Varatus agrees and says he truly hopes Vlad will visit their land at least once. Before Vlad pulls away, Varatus looks down at the glowing amber on Vlad's sword hilt and tells him to bring it when he comes. Vlad doesn't understand and asks what he means. Varatus glances at the elven girl watching closely and says she has taken a strong interest in the stone. Then he looks back at Vlad, his eyes suddenly sharp, and says, "And in you as well." Those words send a cold chill down Vlad's spine. He doesn't know if he should feel honored or hunted. Vlad looks at the elven girl one last time. Now she smiles brightly and waves goodbye, completely different from before. As Vlad, the Vitskaya knights, and the mercenaries head back, hooves and wheels filling the air, Vlad suddenly realizes he never asked her name. Goth, riding beside him, smirks and asks why. Vlad says he wanted to know what to call her when they meet again. Goth laughs and says he understands. He admits she was very pretty in a clearly elven way and adds that when she grows a bit more, most men won't even be able to look at her. Hearing this, Vlad snaps at Goth, asking if he's serious when she's clearly just a kid. Goth sighs and looks at Vlad like he's naive. He says Vlad is forgetting elven biology. She could already be over 100 years old. You can't judge an elf's age by looks. Vlad nods and agrees, saying, "Yeah, fair point." Still, he thinks to himself how hard it is to believe someone could be 100 years old with that face. Soon, the mood shifts from talk to caution. The Vitskaya knight captain rides up to Vlad, calling him Sir Vlad, his face grim. He warns that they must stay alert. From this forest, past the cliffs, all the way to the stone bridge, everything is a high-risk area. Raiders often attack here, targeting anyone who lets their guard down. Vlad says the stone bridge looked like a dangerous choke point. The captain confirms it, saying they've lost many carriages and good men there. Noticing the fading light, Vlad suggests stopping for the night and moving at dawn. The captain immediately refuses. He says stopping isn't an option. This forest is much colder than the elven lands, and if they don't hurry, the tea leaves they're carrying could freeze and become useless. He declares that from now on they will keep moving, pushing both horses and men, even if it means less sleep. Understanding how serious it is, Vlad agrees. Taking command, he says he will lead and orders everyone to guard the sides of the carriage. The knight captain signals his men and they move into position. Seeing the change in attitude, Goth whispers to Vlad, smirking. He points out how ironic it is. A moment ago, the knights saw them as simple northern drifters. Now they're respectful and following orders just because Vlad got invited by an elf. Vlad sighs and tells Goth to shut up and stay focused. He orders him to stick close to the carriage. Then Vlad turns to Stefan, the mercenary captain, and tells him to take his men to the rear. Stefan immediately agrees and rides back. As they move, Vlad counts their strength. 6 knights, including himself. No normal bandit would dare attack such a group. He figures that if someone does attack, they must want something specific, not just money. Still, Vlad can't shake the bad feeling in his gut. It feels like they're riding straight into a lion's den. As Vlad looks at the horizon, the sun is already setting, throwing long, thin shadows across the forest floor. Soon, night fully falls, covering everything in darkness. The group finally reaches the bridge. The stone structure rises ahead like a gray ghost in the moonlight. Vlad, the Vitskaya knights, and the mercenaries are all on high alert. Every hand stays close to a weapon. Every ear listens for the snap of a twig. Suddenly, Vlad sees something through the trees. A faint, steady light shines behind a distant hill. For a moment, he wonders if it is starlight on snow. Then the light grows brighter and moves at incredible speed. It rushes closer every second. Vlad's eyes widen and he starts to draw his sword. Before he can act or shout a warning, the light shoots across the clearing. It slams into one of the Vitskaya knights like a battering ram. The hit lands on the knight's chest with a loud metal crash, crushing the heavy plate armor as if it were soft tin. The knight is thrown from his horse, hits the ground hard, and falls unconscious, his breath knocked out. Panic spreads through the remaining knights. One shouts, "What was that? What's happening?" Vlad feels a surge of tension. He didn't even see the object clearly. What was it? A spell? He jumps off his horse and runs to the impact site. On the ground he finds the object. To his horror, it is just a pebble. A smooth, ordinary stone. He cannot believe it. A simple pebble dented high-quality plate armor. Vlad thinks, that's impossible. No human can throw a stone with that much force. Then the Vitskaya captain, his voice shaking with fear and adrenaline, points toward a dark hill above the bridge. Over there, it's the raider. The raider has appeared. Vlad looks up, his eyes adjusting to the dark. He sees a figure outlined against the night sky. In the figure's hand, a faint pulsing light glows, the same light that launched the pebble. Vlad clenches his teeth in anger. Raider, don't be ridiculous. He recognizes the stance. He recognizes the control of energy. That man isn't a petty thief or forest bandit, Vlad thinks. He's a knight. His grip tightens on his sword as he prepares for a fight unlike any he expected on this road. The air on the bridge smells of ozone and fear. The Vitskaya knights panic, but their captain tells them to calm down. His voice cracks under the shock of the ambush, yet he tries to take control. He orders them to dismount and form a defensive line, believing shields on solid ground are their only chance. Vlad cuts him off sharply. He tells the knights to stay on their horses. The command is sudden and against standard tactics. The knights hesitate. The captain, confused and angry, asks why. He doesn't understand why they should stay mounted and exposed. Vlad points around them. They are on an open bridge. He asks if the captain doesn't see that they will become easy targets if they stop. They are trapped between high railings and a long drop to the water. The captain realizes Vlad is right. The bridge is a kill zone. If they stop, they will be picked off like sitting ducks. Vlad stares at the knight on the hill, studying every movement. Then a cold thought hits him. That knight never meant to kill them. If he wanted them dead, he would have thrown blades, not stones. Stones are blunt. This was a message. It was a warning. A show of power. A predator letting its prey know it can strike anytime. The predator is not hunting yet. It is playing. Understanding this, Vlad orders everyone to run. There is no time for caution, only speed. He commands them to charge forward at full pace. He doesn't wait for agreement. Vlad kicks his horse Noir into motion. The powerful black horse surges ahead, sensing the urgency. Vlad's attendant Goth follows instantly. The mercenary captain Stefan tells his men to move, and they obey without question. These fighters trust their instincts. They push their horses into a gallop, hooves pounding across the bridge. The Vitskaya knights stare in shock. "What about us?" they ask. They freeze for a moment, looking to their captain. He snaps at them in anger, embarrassed that a foreign knight and mercenaries are acting faster than his elite guard. "Follow Sir Vlad," they do. Everyone races after Vlad, who leads the charge. A lone figure of silver and black cutting through the mist. On the hill, the unknown knight is surprised. He did not expect his prey to rush forward like this. The hilltop glows again as the aura flares. The Vitskaya knights realize the unknown knight is throwing stones once more, each one moving with terrifying speed. The air screams as the projectiles fly, heavy like catapult shots but fast like arrows. The captain orders his knights to scatter, hoping to reduce losses. Vlad's eye lights up with an aura giving him sharp supernatural vision. He sees the incoming stone and shouts for everyone to ignore it and keep running. He knows that slowing down now means death. As the projectile closes in, Vlad prepares to intercept it. He shifts in the saddle and grips his sword until his knuckles turn white. The stone slams into his blade with a thunderous crash. The impact sends a shock through his body, rattling his teeth and nearly knocking him from his horse. When Vlad's aura crashed into the unknown knights, the whole area exploded in bright white and blue light. The unknown knight couldn't believe Vlad had blocked it. From where he stood, the attack should have been impossible for one swordsman to stop. Vlad felt a surge of confidence. His arm vibrated with pain, but that only proved how strong he was. Before, the flying stones were just deadly blurs. Now he could see them clearly and react. His senses sharpened, growing stronger in this fight for his life. The Vitskaya knights were stunned. Their fear slowly turned into desperate awe. Inspired, the knight captain ordered his men to run and follow Sir Vlad. He knew their lives now depended on this one man. Realizing his attack failed, the unknown knight rushed down the hill toward them. He moved with terrifying grace, skipping over rocks as if gravity barely mattered. Vlad drove his horse Noir forward, pushing it to its limit. After some time, they finally crossed the bridge. The hard sound of hooves on stone became the soft thump of dirt. Vlad felt brief relief. He thought that if they reached the forest, they might lose their pursuer. Then he felt something terrible. The forest did not promise safety. It promised horror. Ahead, the air lit up with a massive starlight aura, like Vlad's but far larger and heavier. The unknown knight was charging his sword with enormous energy, the aura spinning around the blade like a trapped storm. The light grew so bright it hurt to look at it. It burned their eyes and stretched the shadows of trees into long, twisted claws. Vlad knew what was coming. He shouted for everyone to scatter and charge straight at the source. He knew only he might survive the impact. The unknown knight released his attack. A huge explosion followed. The world turned white. The sound was not a bang but a deep roar that swallowed the screams of men and horses. When the smoke cleared, Vlad lay on the ground. His armor was burned and blood ran from a cut on his forehead. He forced himself up, his muscles screaming, and looked around. Everything was destroyed. The carriage was flipped on its side, one wheel spinning uselessly. Most of the Vitskaya knights and mercenaries were unconscious, scattered across the forest floor like broken dolls. The unknown knight walked toward Vlad through the settling dust, calm and deadly. He said Vlad had shown quick judgment, bold choice, and fearless action. Not bad. Vlad jumped in shock. He hadn't even noticed the knight approach. The man moved like a ghost, fading in and out of Vlad's awareness. Then the knight said coldly, "Honestly, it's impressive." He stopped a few steps away, his armor still glowing with fading starlight. He said he thought they were all weak, just another group to crush. Then he asked Vlad who he was, wondering how Vitskaya had a knight like this. Vlad answered by taking his stance for his one-shot kill technique. He ignored the pain, ignored his fallen allies. He poured everything into the tip of his blade. The unknown knight froze. He seemed to recognize the move. His eyes widened behind his visor, and for the first time his calm broke. Before he could speak, Vlad charged. The ground burst beneath Vlad's boots. At the last second, the unknown knight twisted and blocked the strike. Steel rang against steel, sharp and clear. The knight tilted his head, studying Vlad's movements. Vlad forced him back a step and attacked again, giving him no time to rest. But every strike was parried. The unknown knight barely moved, his sword tracing tight, perfect circles that turned away Vlad's furious blows. Vlad then filled his blade with aura, making it glow fiercely. Even now, the unknown knight only watched, more curious than eager to finish the fight. Vlad gathered all his strength and soul into one massive downward slash. The result did not change. The knight blocked it and slid back slightly, dirt spraying from his boots. He stood firm, unharmed. For a moment, everything went silent between the two men. The forest is quiet. The only sounds are Vlad's heavy breathing and the distant creak of the broken carriage. Vlad prepares the one-shot kill again. pulling air into his lungs. Then the knight asks, "Who taught you that sword move?" Vlad freezes. The knight recognizes the technique. Shock runs through him, his thoughts spin in the dark. How does this knight know that style, that voice in his head, the source of all his fighting knowledge? How could a stranger know it too? The knight's sword begins to glow with an aura as he takes the same one-shot stance. The sight is frightening, but the knight's blade is far more polished and powerful than Vlad's. Its aura doesn't just glow, it hums, shaking the air itself. In a cold voice, the knight tells Vlad that his answer may cost him his head. Time seems to stop as both men ready the same deadly strike. It feels like looking into a mirror made of death. A terrifying, beautiful moment. Their starlight auras start to blend, forming a shining field that makes nearby leaves shrivel and curl. Vlad asks, his voice rough with fear and defiance. "Who are you?" The knight replies calmly. "Looks like we're asking the same thing." Then the knight begins to chant the core words of the one-shot kill. His voice carries ancient power. The sword's path must be straight and true, moving forward without doubt. Only a sudden, decisive strike can open that path. Vlad is stunned. These are the exact words he has repeated in his own mind countless times. Suddenly, the knight blurs. He doesn't move, he disappears in a streak of starlight. Before Vlad can react, the strike lands. The area explodes with light like a star bursting inside a single sword swing. Vlad's sword flies from his hand, the lifeline of a knight, spinning through the air before crashing into the dirt far away. Vlad drops to his knees, his hands shake. His spirit breaks under the massive gap in their strength. The knight places his blade against Vlad's neck, the cold steel pressing into his skin. "I'll ask one last time," the knight says, his voice heavy as stone. "Who is he? And who gave you imperial swordsmanship?" Vlad's eyes go wide. Imperial swordsmanship. The words carry the weight of empires and hidden truths, things Vlad never imagined he would ever touch.